So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a solution to one of the ALEKS problems from chapter 1. This is using mass density to find mass or volume. The question says that a chemistry student needs 45.0 grams. G is for grams, that's a mass unit, of methyl acetate for an experiment. By consulting the CRC Handbook of Chemistry and Physics, the student discovers that the density of methyl acetate is 0.934 grams divided by centimeters cubed. Generally, we would phrase that as 0.934 grams per centimeter cubed. Calculate the volume of methyl acetate that the student should pour out. So this is a density problem. They give you the density of methyl acetate, and they also give you the mass. And we're asked to find the volume. So we need a little bit of basic algebra here. Let's go back to the definition of density. Density, D, is equal to mass, M, over volume, V. Now, those are the abbreviations we're using for these quantities, the density, the mass, and the volume. We also have units, and the units also have abbreviations. But in this particular question, they're not asking us to calculate the density. They're asking us to calculate the volume. So to find the volume, we have to do a little bit of algebra. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by volume. So density times volume is equal to mass divided by volume times volume. See, I multiplied both sides by volume. In general, algebraically, if you do one thing to one side of the equation, you do the same thing to the other side of the equation, that's perfectly allowable. Now, on the right side of the equation, we have volume divided by volume. Well, volume divided by volume is 1, so those cancel out. So now we have density times volume is equal to the mass. But again, we don't want the mass. This would show us how to find the mass. We want to find the volume. So I have one more step to do, which is I'm going to divide both sides by density. Okay, I'm dividing by the quantity that's on the same side as what I'm trying to figure out, and I'm going to divide by that same quantity on both sides. So now density divided by density is 1, and now we have our result. Volume is mass divided by density. Now all we have to do is put the numbers and the units in. The mass is 45.0 grams, and the the density is 0.934 grams divided by centimeters cubed. I'm going to draw that a little bit longer there. And what happens is we would now use our calculator, or if you're very good, you could do this by hand. 45 divided by 0.934 is 48 point something. So that's equal to 48.1798715 So I'm going to write a few of those numbers. 17987. And what about the units? Grams divided by grams. Now what we have is something that's interesting. We don't have any units up anymore because the grams have canceled out. But we have units down here. But it's not really 1 over centimeters cubed. It's really 1. If we don't have any units, we just write a 1. And so now this grams is canceled, so it's 1 over centimeters cubed. Okay, so the cubed is written as a superscript. I noticed that it's not a superscript up here at the top in the question, but that's just an issue with the software. I wasn't able to do it that way. So now we have 1 over centimeters cubed. In general, 1 over x is just equal to x. So 1 over centimeters cubed is just centimeters cubed. And we're almost there. We just have to do significant figures. It says that we have 3 significant figures here. And over here we also have 3. So if you're doing multiplication or division, what you do is you look how many sig figs each number has, and whichever one has the fewest, that's how many sig figs the answer should have, and you round it. So 45.0 divided by 0.934, each has 3 sig figs, so our answer would have 3. So what you do is you start on the left. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3 right there. So this 1 would be the last digit, but the number that comes after it is 5 or greater, so we round it up to a 2. Oops, I'm running a lot of room here. So that's 48.2, and then we've already decided that our units are centimeters cubed. And that'd be our answer. So the volume of this methyl acetate, we don't need to know anything about the methyl acetate, its chemical properties or its structure or anything like that for this particular question. We're just trying to find out what its volume is. The volume of methyl acetate that has a mass of 45 grams is 48.2 centimeters cubed.